Living in a community with an HOA, it can be great. Keeps things orderly, but boy, can it also lead to some major frustration. Today, we're going to dive into a case where one homeowner's simple request for documents just spiraled into an all-out legal war. And that really gets to the heart of the matter, right? It's all about transparency and trust. So what are your rights when the people in charge won't show you where the money is going? Let's dig in and find out.
All right, so on one side, you've got Thomas Bossert. He's a homeowner, but here's the kicker. He's also the former president of his HOA board. And on the other side, the Silverbell West Association, the very board he used to lead. So yeah, this isn't just some random dispute. There's definitely some history here.
So where did this all begin? You might think it started with some dramatic lawsuit, but nope. It all kicked off with a simple, formal request for information, something pretty much any HOA member has a right to do.
Okay, so let's walk through how this thing blew up. On June 2nd, Bossert asked for financial records. What does he get back? A completely disorganized box of documents. A whole month later, he follows up, specifically listing what's still missing. And crickets, radio silence. By August, he's clearly had enough, and that's when he files an official petition with the state.
And I want you to understand, we're not talking about a few misplaced papers here. The court itself found that the documents were a total mess, with actual junk mail mixed in. I mean, come on, this goes way beyond just being sloppy. It's a huge red flag about how the HOA was handling its records.
So, once that petition was filed, this is where things get really serious. The back-and-forth emails and ignored requests, that's all over. This was now an official legal case, and it was heading straight for hearing.
Bossert's case basically boiled down to three main points. 1, the board failed to hand over records they were legally required to, and 2 and 3, they blew the deadline for their annual financial reports not once but twice.
So you might see this term financial compilation. What is that? Well, you can think of it like a basic health checkup for the HOA's finances. It's not a full-blown audit or anything, but it's really the bare minimum to show that the books are in decent shape. It's all about basic financial transparency.
Okay, now let's go inside the hearing room. This is where it all comes down to witness testimony, and this is what's going to make or break the case for both sides. And boom, the first bombshell comes from Barbara Shunnick, who's a professional bookkeeper. Her testimony was absolutely damning. She said the documents were so disorganized that creating an accurate financial report would have been literally impossible. And then, get this, a stunning twist from the HOA's own president. He gets up there and testifies that the board's treasurer, a guy named Donald Molly, straight up admitted to mixing up the documents. So this wasn't just some accident. It pointed directly to one person's actions.
Well, after all the evidence, all the testimony, it was finally time for the judge to make the call. The arguments were done, and a legally binding decision was on its way.
And the verdict? Well, it was a split decision. And this is where it gets really interesting. The judge found the HOA guilty on 2 counts, failing to provide bank statements and for not completing that 2019 financial report. But, and this is a big but, they were let off the hook for the late 2018 report. Why? Because Bossert was actually on the board back then, and in the judge's opinion, he could have done more to prevent it. The judge did not hold back, though. He called the treasurer's behavior unacceptable and said the failure to turn over bank records was inexcusable. I mean, those are some really strong words. This was a major dressing down of the board's actions.
Okay, so with such a damning verdict, you'd have to expect a pretty hefty fine, right? So what was the price the HOA had to pay for all this mess? 0. Not a dime. In a really surprising move, the judge issued no financial penalty at all. And the reason? The board had already taken a big step and hired a professional management company. The judge basically saw that as them trying to fix the problem, a step in the right direction.
But the HOA didn't walk away completely free. Because Bossert was, the clear winner in the case, the judge ordered the association to pay him back. They had to reimburse him for the $1,000 in fees he paid just to file the petition in the first place. So he won his case, and he got his money back.
All right, so the homeowner won, but the HOA kind of dodged a major financial bullet. What can we all learn from this? What are the big takeaways for every single homeowner and board member out there?
So here are the crucial lessons, and these really apply to any community association. First off, transparency. It's not just a nice idea, it is literally the law. Second, sloppy records aren't just an internal headache, they can turn into a very public, very expensive legal nightmare. Third, board members, you can be held personally accountable for what you do or what you fail to do. And finally, and this is a big one, this case shows that if you proactively fix a problem, it can be your get-out-of-jail-free card when it comes to penalties.
And that brings us to the final question we should all probably ask ourselves. Whether you're on the board or you're a homeowner, if someone were to open up your association's books tomorrow, what would they find? Would it be order and transparency? Or would it be a disorganized box full of excuses and, miscellaneous advertisements?